Don't just walk away. Don't just do up your briefcase and bugger off. Sales should always be about the customer. Listen to their needs, be curious, understand their desires, and sell the solution to their problem. Is there any point in selling ice to the Eskimos? I don't think there is, and in this episode we're going to explore the reasons why. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Sales Circle podcast. This is your sales-based podcast that is designed, that is written, that is produced to help you improve your sales and your sales skills. And look, we don't prejudice here, we don't discriminate. Whether you are a salesperson, a sales professional, whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you're a CEO, business owner, whatever you are, if you need to improve your sales, if you need to sell things, then this podcast is for you. I'm your host, Rob Spence, the author, the managing director. No, I'm not. I'm an author, of several sales books, the host of this podcast, the managing director of a multi-award winning sales and marketing agency. And I'm so thrilled to have you with us. Now, today, this podcast is entitled, Why Bother Selling Ice to the Eskimos? I could have called it How to Prospect Better. I could have, added some prospecting terms in there. Because put simply, that is what we're going to talk about in today's episode. Part of the inspiration for this has come from probably one of my most popular and most read blogs that I've ever published. It still gets, near enough, hundreds, probably a bit more than that of reads every single quarter, probably more actually. And people seem to love it. And I'll explain sort of what I'm going to mean by why bother selling ice to the Eskimos. And actually, we're going to talk a little bit more about how you can prospect better and how you can have better people to speak to when you're trying to make some money and when you're trying to sell your products or your services. Before we do go on, I do want to say a massive thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And shall we, if I may, crack on with the episode? So, look, the title of this episode is quite elusive. It's quite confusing at times, right? Why bother selling ice to the Eskimos? And as I alluded to in the introduction there, I've heard that term so many times, and I'm sure you have. Oh, he's such a great salesperson. He could sell ice to the Eskimos. He could. Oh, it's that term there. And it's a term that's been around with us for, to be honest with you, I don't know how long, but decades, if not centuries. And I'm sure that you've heard it. Oh, you could sell ice to the Eskimos. In my blog that is quite popular still to this day, the main question I ask is what's the point? What is the point in selling ice to the Eskimos? Seriously, what is the absolute point of selling ice to the to the Eskimos? Now, look, I'm no geographical expert. I am no expert on ethnicities or anything. One would argue people living surrounded by ice in the cold do not need more ice, okay? What they need is warm clothing. They need the ability to build fires, to build shelter, food, potentially, warm coats, warm underwear. They don't need more ice. And that's, I know that it is only a saying. I know selling ice to the Eskimos is only a saying. But the point we're going to get to in today's podcast is, what is the point in selling things to people that either don't need your products or services or have already got your products and services? Surely it is far better to sell to people that actually have a problem. Surely your products and services become an easier sell, a better sell, if you are able to solve someone's problem. And that's where good value prospecting comes down into play. I think as well, a lot of, the terminology, and please don't forget, I do understand that it's only saying, I don't think there's actually people out there selling ice to the Eskimos. I mean, if there are, then please do let me know. That'd be fascinating. What it also comes down to is that egotistical selling that salespeople do. They sell because they want to sell. They sell because they need to sell. They sell things that people actually don't want, they don't need, they don't care about. And they push that sale just to hit the target, to hit quota, to hit revenue streams. And it's not right? Selling ice to Eskimos it's what's wrong with sales, and especially that kind of 80s, potentially 70s, early 90s, ego-driven selling, right? The ability to sell ice to the Eskimos isn't about the customer. It's about you, the salesperson. And in this modern day and age, that is not what sales is about. Sales should always be about the customer. Sales becomes far easier if sales becomes the thing we are doing to help the customer, to problem solve. Remember, great salespeople don't sell. They solve problems. They build relationships. They help people. Great salespeople do not sell. Now, once again, in all of these episodes, I do like to include some statistics just to back up my thinking here. So what actually is the marketplace saying? What do the statistics say? So I've done some digging. I've done some research, right? Because I'm sure it's not just me that hates the ability to sell ice to the Eskimos, or even that saying, let's sell ice to the Eskimos. So I've got a couple of statistics here. This one is from Salesforce. Okay, Salesforce go on to say that 84% of buyers say being treated like a human being, not a sales target, is crucial to winning their business. That is massive, right? And that goes to the heart of what I always talk about with sales. Sales is never about you as a salesperson, right? I don't care if you think you've got the best product, the best service. I don't care if your sales manager, your sales director, your managing director is saying, sell this because I said so. You've got to believe in that product. And better still, you've got to sell a product to an audience of people of whom actually want to buy from it. Sales becomes so much easier when we do that, which is where good quality prospecting comes into play. 84% of buyers want to be treated like a human being, not just a sales target. And that does open up that conversation we had recently about AI and how people just automate messaging. 84% of buyers want to feel like a human, right? This one is from LinkedIn State of Sales. They say 75% of buyers want salespeople to show their product. Beg your pardon, I'll start that all over again. 75% of buyers want salespeople to show how their product can help them achieve their goals, not just pitch features. Critical, right? So once again, 75% of buyers want salespeople to show how it can help them. And it goes back to that thing. Sales becomes so much easier when we're solving problems, when we're helping people. If we're just selling because we've been told all these features, right? It's not going to work out. We need to get the benefits in there, the what's in it for me or what's in it for them within our pitching, within our marketing as well at times, right? Here's a good one from HubSpot, another good CRM system, right? 47% of buyers have walked away from a sale because the rep didn't take time to understand their needs. Nearly half of buyers studied or surveyed for HubSpot said they walked away from a sale because their rep didn't take the time to understand their needs. That's massive, absolutely massive. And I still hear it to this day. I see it to this day. And I'll give you a little example of this in a second, actually. Once again, these statistics prove we do not need to be selling ice to the Eskimos. What we actually need to be doing is using these big chuggers on the side of our head. We need to listen to the needs, the wants, the desires, the pain points of our prospects. And we just need to sell the solution. That's all we need to do. And we had it recently here at our offices. I think I might have shared this story on the podcast before. I may have done, but it's a good story. I'll share it all over again. Very recently, maybe maybe not as recent as I thought, maybe 6 to 8 weeks ago, give or take, we had a salesperson turn up at our office, unannounced, just a cold call, just walking by kind of thing, which is great, which is absolutely fantastic. He was selling alarms and security systems. Now, this person just came in and said, look, here's our company. Give my colleague a flyer. This is our company. This is what we do. Oh, that alarm you've got there, crap, that is. Crap, ours are 10 times better than yours. If the managing director wants to call, let me know. And the sales pitch was very, we're the best. We're better than what you're using currently. You know, this is how we can help. For all intents and purposes, we've got to give him kudos. We've got to give him credit, right? He did a cold call. He turned up unannounced. He talked about the benefits of his company. He talked about the benefits of his systems, X, Y, Z. So some benefits there. However, think how that pitch could have gone differently if the salesperson had A, either done some research, or B, asked some questions. Research would have told this salesperson that we were burgled, to be fair, near enough, give or take, a year to the day at the time of recording this, give or take, right? We were burgled. Someone broke in, took £1,000 worth of computers. So we were burgled. A bit of research, it was very highly publicised, it was in the local press, it was on LinkedIn. A bit of research, you would have found that out. But what if instead of saying, hey, look, we're the best we're the best alarm system in the world, your alarm's shit, use ours. What if that salesperson would have said, hey, listen, from a local security company, I've seen on the news recently there's been a spate of burglaries in the area. Has any of that affected you recently? Yeah, we got burgled last year. Oh gosh, sorry to hear that. And were you damaged badly? What was taken? Oh, about £1,000 worth of equipment. Bloody hell. Okay, right. That doesn't sound good at all. Like I say, I've seen some other businesses' premises in the area have been burgled recently. Really sorry to hear that. Are you all recovered now? You got everything? So, okay, great, lovely. I see you've got, a couple of alarm systems here. How are they working for you? Are they okay? Are they bad? What don't you like about them? Okay, right. What that salesperson could have been doing is digging out these pain points, right? Instead of just coming in going, we're the best, use this, that's shit. That salesperson could have easily said, well, what are you struggling with? What have you struggled with? Well, listen, for only, £40 a month, we can install an alarm. I mean, that's a good alarm. Well done for fitting it. But our alarm system will do this. These are our benefits. I mean, is it worth me kind of just giving a free site survey? I can kind of look around the building, look for any weak spots, and we can see how we can secure them. And that's the key point to this episode, although prospecting. Salespeople should never sell for the reasons why they want to sell. Salespeople should sell for the reasons why customers want to buy. If you do that, sales becomes so much easier, right? So let's look a little bit on a very short section about how you can maybe phrase things better, how you can prospect better, and how you can actually make more sales instead of trying to constantly just push your product. Just a quick reminder, the Sales Circle podcast is proudly partnered with Monday.com CRM. If you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, a salesperson who's looking for a highly intuitive CRM system that doesn't cost the earth, that's really easy to use with loads of AI and automation to free up loads of your time so you can sell more, then Monday.com CRM is probably the solution for you. Monday.com is, of course, a fantastic project management tool with great functionality to help you keep on top of your projects. But their CRM system also is bloody fantastic. And as a thank you for listening to the podcast, there is a link in the description or the show notes below. Click that link, you'll get some free access to Monday.com CRM and have a play around with it for free. I think there's some other goodies and some other bonuses in there as well. So maybe you're sick to death of your current CRM provider, maybe you're looking for a new, fresh one, or maybe you just need to start with one. Try out Monday.com CRM. Hit the link below for your unique access. So I'm gonna say this right, really straight. Okay, I'm gonna say it straight and clear and plain and simple as possible. Being a salesperson isn't about being slick. It's not about having the gift of the gab. Being a good salesperson isn't about being able to sell ice to the Eskimos. A good salesperson, the greatest salespeople in the world, are curious, they're empathetic, and they solve problems. Put simply, that's all they do. They're curious, empathetic, and they solve problems. Every single customer out there has a problem. And if your product or service can help them solve that problem, then you are well within your rights and you'll get a better success rate to sell your solution. We don't have to sell ice to the Eskimos as salespeople. What we do have to do is prospect well. We have to find the right people to speak to in the first place. We have to be curious. We've got to ask questions. We've got to understand those problems and needs. We've got to match it then with our best fit solution. What can our product do to help our customer? As mentioned before in the statistics, we don't have to just reel off features left, right, and center. When we then pitch, we just have to match the benefits to the pain points that the prospect is saying. That's simply all it is. And my biggest advice, and there's going to be a lot of sales managers and sales directors shouting at me for saying this. If your product or solution is not the best fit for your customer, walk away. Genuinely, walk away. Yes, you may make a quick sale, you may make some quick money, you may make a quick commission, but what you're going to end up with is a customer with buyer's remorse. You're going to end up with a customer who's not happy. You're going to end up with a customer who wants to maybe return the product or service, that maybe argues, that maybe complains. They certainly won't be a fan of you. They won't be giving you repeat business. They won't be giving you recommendations. They won't be giving referrals. But by walking away from that sale, what you may gain is someone who is willing to recommend you to other people. Just because you weren't the right fit for them doesn't mean that they can't help you find the right fit. Don't ever be afraid to walk away. I know, I get it, it's tough. Sales directors have got targets. Sales directors will put pressure on you to hit your sales targets. But don't sell just for the sake of selling. Excuse me. Sell for the reasons why you can help your customer, your prospect, your client, or whatever. You'll get a much better success rate, you'll also then get more repeat business, more referrals, more recommendations as well. So before we move on to the listeners' questions, just remember, this whole, she can sell ice, the Eskimos, is nonsense, okay? Right? We should be selling things that our customers want. Do Eskimos really want more ice? Probably not. Do they want warmer clothes? Do they want shelter? Do they want the ability to build a fire? Probably yes. Try and sell to your prospects. Well, first things first, prospect customers that 100% will want or need your product or service. And then listen to their needs, be curious, understand their desires, and sell the solution to their problem. Thank you as always for everyone that has sent in some questions recently. One of the greatest things I love is opening up my inbox and seeing loads of sales questions to answer. So thank you so much. If you're new to the podcast, every single episode, I'll try and read out a couple of those questions and give you some answers. And those questions have always been anything to do with sales or business related. It could be all about objection handling. It could be about prospecting. It could be about closing. Maybe you've got a tricky customer that you can't close. We'll talk about on the podcast, see what we can do to help. If you do have a burning question, then please do just write in. You can email thesalescircleofficial@gmail.com. You could also message us anywhere on social media or leave us some comments as well. But first things first, Sarah has written in and she says, Rob, I've been told to sell hard no matter what. So I think we were just talking about that a second ago, right? I was told to sell hard no matter what. But what if the prospect clearly doesn't need what I offer? Yeah, Sarah, look, great. Great question. And I think we mentioned this a moment ago. Your job as a salesperson is not to push a square peg into a round hole, okay? Your job is to solve problems. Now, of course, there's that element of if we prospect well and if we market well and if we find the right people to speak to, that should help our job as salespeople. But it doesn't always happen, right? Our job is to listen, understand the needs, the wants, the designs, and pain points. Selling something that your prospect doesn't need is damaging, right? It wastes your time. It could also damage your reputation, your customers, your company's reputation, and ultimately piss someone off. My argument will be there are hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of people that will buy from you. Just because that one person won't doesn't mean the next person will not. So, or will. You understand where I'm going with that. My advice, in my opinion, always walk away. Always be open and honest. Walk away. Try and point them towards someone else, another solution, another business, another product, whatever it is. Walk away. I'll pretty much bet my bottom dollar that by walking away, you will either get more recommendations or referrals, or they'll come back to you in the future when they do need your product or service. So don't feel that you've got to force a sale just for forcing it. Jake has written in to say, how do I get better at identifying a real need early on in the call? Jake, great question. Obviously, once again, prospecting is vital. Prospecting isn't always the be all and end all. It's really hard until you speak to someone, right? You don't really know what that person, needs, wants. Sometimes they might not know what they need or want, but you need to uncover those problems. My biggest tip is ask open-ended questions, right? Some old sales trainers and old sales training and old sales directors will say use closed questions and take that person on a journey the way that you want to manipulate that person, right? I say wrong. Ask open-ended questions. Yes, you can still guide that prospect down a certain route, but by asking open-ended questions, you are allowing that person to open up and think a bit deeper and to think about what's going on within their business. So things like, look, what challenges are you currently facing? What's your biggest frustration at the moment? Open-ended questions get people thinking and giving you clues and giving you stuff to talk about. So just be open, ask questions. Remember, as a salesperson, you should be listening more, asking questions more, and talking less. So thanks for the question. This is anonymous, but they go on to say, is it okay to walk away if there is no, what does that say? If there's no fit? Yeah, absolutely. As we said with, I think it was Sarah's question, obviously don't just walk away. Don't just do up your briefcase and bugger off. And I don't think you would. But make sure that you've got the ability to step away. Genuinely, people will thank you for it. You'll get more recommendations, more referrals, and a better chance of selling further on. Just be open. Just be honest. just communicate. Look, I really appreciate your time. Thinking about everything you've told me, I don't think our product or service or solutions will actually help you. The reasons for this are A, B, and C. I'm really thankful you've given me the chance to speak to you. However, obviously, if anything changes, please do get in touch. And look, I'd love to stay in touch with you as well. I do know another company that could actually help with this. Here's their details. Like, you don't necessarily have to do that latter part. I think it's nice. I think it's good. But just walk away. Genuinely, I've had it before within my business. I've walked away. Lo and behold, that person has recommended me to other people. I've actually got more from it than just trying to get a quick, easy win. So thanks so much for the questions. As always, like I said earlier, please do send in your questions. You can email thesalescircleofficial@gmail.com, messages anywhere on social media, and eventually I'll get around to answering those questions. So now, just to finally round up, let's talk about our book recommendation of the week. And this book this week is A Mind for Sales by Mark Hunter. I'm just trying to get that in the light a little bit more so it's not reflecting too much. A Mind for Sales by Mark Hunter. As always, a link for this will be in the show notes or description below. A fantastic book, full transparency. I've not read it in a few years, but I believe greatly in the psychology, the mindset, the theories around sales, around communication, around human interaction. I believe that they're far more important than just some cheesy closing question, right? And this book sort of really solidified for that. It's a great read, got some great reviews and testimonies by some fantastic salespeople on the back here. Let's read a little bit about the blurb. Everybody knows the world of sales can be tough and it's easy to get discouraged, which it certainly can, right? The wrong thought patterns can start to set in, soon you aren't making your quotas. And instead, you're looking through job listings on your lunch break. Yeah, we've all been there. So the difference between, good and bad is simply developing mindset and momentum habits. Great book, really good read. I thoroughly recommend it. It will help you to feel re-energized by a renewed purpose in your sales role. Receive practical strategies on how to change your mindset and succeed in sales. You'll learn the daily habits needed to maximize productivity and make hitting the ground running strategy number one. And it will give you a real insight into sales, how to kind of switch that sales mindset on and help you hit those targets. So if you're looking for a great read to read over the summer, maybe take it away when you're going on holiday, A Mind for Sales is my book recommendation of the week. As always, I'll drop the link for that in the show notes below. You could be able to pick up your own copy. And of course, if you've authored a book on sales, maybe you've got a book recommendation, once again, let me know. I'll gladly give it a read and give it a shout out. So that wraps up today's episode of the Sales Circle podcast. We've loosely talked about, although, the title has been Why Bother Selling Icy Eskimos? What we've really kind of spoken about is why it's important for salespeople to prospect better and why they should ask more questions and why they should solve problems for customers. Genuinely, if you want to see an increase in your sales, selling to the right audience and selling the right product to solve the right problems is the quickest hack to make more sales, right? It doesn't matter what cold call openers you use, doesn't matter what closing questions you use, doesn't matter what objection handling you use. If you are selling to the right audience and solving the right problems, sales gets so much easier. So get out there and do it today. Do it tomorrow. Do it this week. Instead of, trying to sell to anyone and everyone, really niche down your targeting, prospect well, and ask more open-ended questions. Remember, you are a problem solver, not a salesperson. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Sales Circle podcast. Just a quick reminder, these come out every single Thursday without fail. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, and follow us over on social media. It does really mean a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next week, all the best. And that's it for another episode of the Sales Circle. Make sure you hit that follow button, join us over on social media, and we'll see you next week.